Hello everyone, welcome to another live match, the Average Angler. Today we are at Landsend Fishery, which isn't in Cornwall, it's actually in Somerset, just outside a little village called Wedmore. And we are on the second round of Tony Rixon's Float Only League 2023. First round was at Ship Lake, managed to sneak a section win there. Today I've drawn on the John, I can't remember the name of it now, the John something Lake. So there's Lake 1, Lake 2, Lake 3, this is Lake 3. This is the least popular to draw because the weights on this lake will be lower usually than the weights on the other two lakes. But it doesn't matter because we're in that section. So basically there's an angler just there, as you can see. And I'm next, then I'm next. And there's an angler here, he's not at his peg at the moment. And then there's 3 more anglers. So there's a section of 6, just fishing for your section point. So this whole lake, there's nobody on the other bank. So we've got the whole lake to the south. So hopefully that should outraise the weights that we get from this lake. But we don't know. It's what I've set up right. It's very shallow at this lake. It's the same once you get down the slope. Same depth here all the way across, and then it comes back up a little bit. So I've set up to fish in the margin just where this little tuft is here. Comes up nice and shallow in there, and it's quite flat, and then it just drops away. Comes out flat until you get to that tree there. So you get in line with that tree. It just starts to drop down to the full depth. So I shall feed by the tree and fish in. Put quite a bit of feed in there and fish in. That's probably what I'll do unless I change my mind during the match. I've got a short line here, top kitten 2 or top kitten 1. I can't remember, and that's the same depth as it top kitten 4 out there. So that's the same rig, and then right up tight in there I've got another rig. I've also set up a slapping stroke, mugging stroke swinging rig. There are odd fish visible, but they are quite hard to spot. Maybe I can, sneak a couple out. So that's where we're at. Word on the bank is £60 a win today, but who knows? Could be 160, could be 25. It's very unpredictable, this lake. Catch you in a bit. Right guys, we're an hour in. Got 4 F1s. We've lost a couple of F1s and we've lost a carp that was foul hooked. Put some maggots down the middle, like I did last time I was here. Seemed to work well and get a fish feed on it, but I can't see any signs of fish feeding on it at the moment. Got some mugging rigs and some slapping rigs, but no success with them really. The fish don't seem to want to know. I'm having problems because I'm having to double ship getting me yard pellets out there. And it's a long way to ship for like 10 ounce F1s. Slow process. I've been messing about with putting maggots on the hook, and the micros in the pot to try and make it quicker, but it just seemed to ruin it really. So I've gone back now to fishing the hard pellet, tapping in hard pellets. Just waiting for an indication. I do seem to get indications pretty quickly after feeding. Oh, no, I didn't invest in. It was a good fish. I think this shallow one. Let's just see if I've got any more. No, I don't think I have. So I'll put the extender on and just see if I can put more pellets in and tap it 2 or 3 times. Just seeing that fish come into the. I get indications whenever I tap baiting. That's a little bite there. There's F1. Let's plug away at this for an hour because there's something in those bites. The fish fishing really hard. I'm in the middle of 3 pegs here to my, which I would call the left, our end of the lake. And there's 3 more pegs at the other end of the lake, and they're definitely doing significantly better than we are. That is the best F1 I've had all day. That's twice the size of any other F1s I've had so far. So he's like 2 F1s. He's nice. The water's low, so it's a long way down for the fish, but you just got to make sure you Try and make sure you hit the water nicely, so they can go straight in without catching the side of the net. So there's like 3 of us here at this end of the lake, all together, and then there's like a big gap, and then there's 3 at the other end, and the guys at the other end are definitely doing better than we are. So, I feel like I'm one of a few people so far that's not had a carp. I've had one but I've lost it. A few people have probably got some foul lookers out, but I ain't got any foul lookers out yet. It's quite frustrating. Got the rig bolt right down, it's just above the little length so that I can tell if I'm hung up on anything. I think it'll be a nice positive indication like that one. This might be a better fish. Oh, this is a better fish, whether it's up properly we'll find out in a minute. It's very awkward. You've got to ship back, but then you're almost pulling the fish into your own back wall.
The ass again, John.
Well, he might be in the mouth, this one. Moping. Should have had a nugget on who could land the most foul lookers. Starting to think it might be foul look now. It's holding its position there. It's like something small. Did you see it, did you?
Yeah, rolled right on the back of the island.
Yeah, you know if they're hooked in the mouth, because when they roll, you see their heads come out normally, don't you? When they're hooked in the mouth. Not sure, it's a ghosty. No, he's in the chops. Stop the press. Someone's hooked one in the mouth. Huh? I think so, yeah. It's very close to the mouth, it's not in the mouth. Yeah, it could be like on the nose or something. Now we get off the mark on the carp front. Oh no, he's a proper one. Properly hooked. Weigh twice, don't they? If you weigh them twice, don't they? If you hook them properly. You can go your own way. Right. Point was 4. He weren't quite £4, but I'll call him £4. Something there, not sure if it's hooked in the mouth or not. Right on the drop, you can't really give it to him on the drop because you can't put a rig in that's spread out. Feels like it might be a better F1. It's more like the stamp I've been catching. Let's take my rig up. Is that a carp again? Fucking rude. Right then guys, we're 2 hours in. I've just landed my third carp actually. 3 carp now. Did have one over on the line across. You saw me fishing last on my last update, and it's just got harder and harder and harder and more effort over there. So what I've done is come short onto the maggot line where I've been prepping the first hour and a half, and just keep pinging pellets over to that far line, keep it alive. I just had 2 carp on this line. You have got to work your way through the roach. I've had some F1s on it. I've had crucian on it. There's some nice roach on it actually. But what I found is you just got to keep putting bait in, and eventually every now and again a carp arrives. And I think there's a lot of carp cruising past. And every now and again one of them sees the big cloud of pellet maggots going down and he has a good munch. Or double up bait, or triple up bait sometimes. Let's see if anyone has it. That's what I'm doing, I'm just keeping that medium pot, that's a matrix pot, that is medium one, just full of the top maggot every single time I go in. Try not to lay the rig in too much because the roach tend to intercept and just mind it being like a slow 4 on the last 4 to look at them roach are a pain in the bum. There's a few of them there at the moment. Only coming back because he's nicked one of my maggots. I'm marking double maggot. I have caught on single maggot, but I'm marking the double maggot. I'm going to feed it this time. I'm going to feed that far along, later on I might pop out there. Vince down to our right on the pegs to our right that are catching, he's caught well. Looks like he's slapping up against the island, so maybe that's something I can do if I get some fish there. Dave's catching again down there, look. See something a bit bigger than a roach, or a better roach maybe. Probably a F1 this. Or crucian. He's no bigger than a roach really. Put double red on, fill it up again. A bit more weight down the line and bite a little bit more positive. These crucians are so delicate. Probably hardly giving you an indication at all sometimes. Tenchy, I think. Little tench. Lovely little F1s. Some of their F1s. So, yeah. Oh, yep. That's nice then. That kind of worked. Bit of a voiceover for this section, guys, because of technical difficulties with the camera. The line down the middle had produced me more than you've seen, really, and it caught me a couple of carp, and I think it got me back in the mix. I was a little bit behind everybody else, but I felt like at this point I'm back in the mix now. If the edge can produce something for me, I might be able to make something happen on this section. Now, as I've already said, I could see the carp were in there, and what I'd done is I'd put one big pot, one 250ml pot of maggots in, and I'd also put a 250ml pot of micros in. I fed it just as I said, sort of 18 inches to 2 foot off the bank, and then what I've done is put a piece of meat on the hook, and I've pulled that right into the bank now, and as you can see I'm actually putting the pole on the bank, trying to hide it from any fish because it's so shallow there. And straight away I've had one, so this is really encouraging because there's still plenty of time to go in this match, and so I haven't got to catch out of this margin at a fantastic rate. I've just got to try to work it out again, feeding. I decided to go down there early because I saw Chris Fox, who was 2 pegs to my right, hook a fish in the margin, so I thought I'd better feed mine and see whether or not the fish are in there for me. And sure enough, it was worth it. Pretty happy to go in there and hook one pretty quickly and hook him in the mouth. You never know, when you're fishing in the margins, you're always worried that you're going to have problems with too many fish or foul hookers, and it just sort of ruins your match. So it's nice to get one under the belt early on. Wasn't a massive fish, but I was well happy with it. I think it was just under £4, I think it was. And like I say, I was just happy to have it hooked in the lip, and I felt like now I could, work at it a bit and maybe catch a few more fish. You might be able to see on the side tray there some meat. It looks a bit orangey, dyed, but it's actually meat dyed yellow. That fish there, he bolted out the swim with the rig there. Didn't even really struck into him, but he was already hooked. He'd sort of ripped the elastic out. Now, if you look carefully, you'll notice that there's a pot on the end of the pole now. So, after having that first fish sort of tight against the bank and feeding the big pot, I was struggling to get there was fish there, but I was struggling to get one to find my hook bait. So, I switched to putting a small amount of micros through that pot and having the same bit of light yellow meat. I dyed the meat yellow with a bit of Scopex liquid, and I just like the fact that it's yellow and it stands out, and the mucky water, really, it's not for the flavour. And I was just doing that, so what I was doing was still put, if the swim went a bit quiet, I could big pot on the main area where I'd put the bait in, but then I'd have a little tiny pile tight to the bank, just going in through the little pot on the end of the pole that you can see there. The margin, was getting better and better and better, but I didn't have everything my own way. This fish was foul hooked, and he was pulling all the way down to the platform to my left there. You can probably just see him on the edge of the screen, just catching the surface. But he breaks the hook length there, and that's the end of that one. So, typical margin fishing, you don't want to hook them all in the mouth, even if sometimes they give you a Houdini bite and you think it was definitely a proper bite, they're not always in the mouth. Catching odd fish, but it wasn't easy. Obviously I've edited out a lot of the waiting time because you don't want to sit and watch me waiting in the edges, but I did have to keep messing about with different hook baits and feeding it differently, and putting, I'd put some micros in and I'd put some maggots in at the start, and I was convinced the micros were the reason the carp were there, so whenever the swim needed topping up I'd put some micros in again. But I felt like each time I topped it up, less and less fish were coming back. It didn't seem right. You'd think that each time you topped it up you'd get more and more fish coming back, but that didn't seem to pan out. Excellent bit of net in there. I think this is a bigger fish. Seems to be putting up a bit of a fight. Soon we'll be able to get you back onto the audio for from the actual bank, and we're going to continue catching down this edge and be able to see that. But you'll notice that perhaps I'm trying different spots of the swim and I'm not always tight into the bank. And one of the things that I did work out in the end was that maggots was important. So I kept topping up with them pellets, but when I tried topping up with maggots instead, and much more fish came into the swim, and that was key. So it just shows you've got to keep experimenting. And towards the end, you might notice, if you look really carefully, you'll see that I'm actually fishing away from the bank, because I found that fishing right in the middle of where the big pots were going in actually started to work towards the end as well. So here comes the proper audio now. Thanks, guys. Right, guys, half an hour to go. Got 74 on my clicker, plus my silvers. Got a big fish on here, or a foul-hooked fish, I'm not sure. Just over down my margin to the left. Just been struggling on and off with the margin. Some runs and then I can't catch them, and suddenly just filled it in with bait, and then what I'm doing is I'm putting that nice big pot full of maggots on. They seem to want the maggot more than they do the meat, or I put meat on, they don't really want that. Put maggot on, put pellet on, it's hard to catch them. Maggot, I seem to have a big bunch of maggot. I've got lots of mixed maggots here with me. I've just got this lot mixed batch of maggots, and I've got some fluoros in. I'm just putting a big bunch of fluoros on because it's quite dark down there and coloured. I'm hoping that's helping the fish pick them out. But I struck at a little dink with this one. I weren't sure if it was on properly. I thought I foul hooked it, but it's just come up there and it's not foul hooked. It's just really nice size fish. They definitely want the maggots, what they want. Step on £7, that's put in, and stuck this one. He feels like he's another £7 or £8. Just need to turn him here, but I'm sure he's hooked in the mouth because he comes in sort of. It might be in the front of his fin. I thought he was in the mouth. He's in the mouth. That's another nice fish in that bag. What's he weighing? He's £10. £10, that's why he was so hard work. Dip. Got him. 8 fleas in the mouth. Dipped, and I thought, is that a bite? Then it dipped again, and then it went. It's probably the first dip. A little bit of more audio problems again. Did you notice that that fish was hooked off the way from the bank, like I said it was? I think the next few might be like that if you keep an eye out. I'm going to take an opportunity while I've got you guys to just ask you to like and subscribe if you're liking my videos. It's always nice to get a few more subscribers, a few likes. Looks like there's a nice big fish coming in here. Towards the end of the match it got better and better and better, and a really nice finish. What I'm showing you here is only a percentage of what was caught towards the end. I did have a nice finish on this match. They're all being caught on maggot now, the meat's gone away. Anyway, the sound's coming back, catch ya. feel like such a big fish. Hmm? Well, I started out putting pellets down there, man. I couldn't catch anything. As soon as I put maggots down there, they've gone mad for it. It's definitely wanted maggots today. Whether he hooked in the mouth or not, this one. I think so. Kind of hooked himself, so I didn't really decide to strike on him. Did make a sharp movement, but he was already on by then. Foul looker, I think. Yeah, there we are. That's what I thought. Foul looked. It's very big. Fish on!
Good finish, John.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be enough though. F1 down the edge.